If you know that there is another version of you that exists, the version of you that is consistent, that is able to get up at that 5 a.m. alarm, that is able to stick to her routine consistently, that is able to do everything consistently, that sticks to the gym, that eats healthy, that has a certain energy or vibe that she carries or confidence that she feels within herself, then your higher self is waiting for you to come into alignment with her. She already exists and she's just waiting for you to go into alignment with her. The steps you need to align with your higher self are a journey that you are very capable of, and I'm very happy and excited to guide you to aligning with your higher self. So, in this series of how to become your higher self, I've already talked about action versus identity. I've talked about shadow work and journaling. I've talked about the thing that keeps you going in circles, why every single time you go to wake up, you hit snooze, or every time you go to the gym, somehow there's some excuse that keeps you prolonging it or saving it for Monday. And so if you want to get caught up with those videos, I will gladly link them for you in the description so that you can get all caught up, and so this video might make a little more sense to you. So I left off of my last video explaining shadow work and how shadow work and affirmations were pivotal in me stepping into alignment with my higher self. And so why were those necessary again? That was because we just spoke about the subconscious mind and how the subconscious mind does a very sneaky thing, and it will keep us going in circles to stay in our familiar self. So it wants to stay in this familiar self. Why? Because that is its form of keeping us safe. And it just wants to keep us familiar because familiarity is safe and it's just part of its system. Okay, your subconscious mind is doing everything for you. It's why when you're sleeping, your body is still working, your blood is still circulating, you're still breathing in and out without having to consciously think about it. Or when you're awake, that you're blinking, it's doing everything for you. I don't want you to hate your subconscious mind, but it wants to keep you safe. It doesn't really care to keep you happy. So when you go to do something that's outside of your norm, you wake up and you see that you set an alarm for like 5 or 6 a.m. very early, different from your normal timing, so that you can go and do something your higher self would do, like maybe catch a Pilates class early and then come back and shower and get ready for her day. Your mind will push a button that says, we're not familiar with getting up at 5 a.m. Usually she hits snooze. So we're going to push a button in her mind that says, let's just go back to sleep. I'm really tired. I'm so tired. I feel so tired. And not getting enough sleep is probably going to be worse for me than waking up. Or we don't need to start the gym today. Let's start tomorrow, or let's start when it's a sunny day. Who wants to start the gym on a cloudy day? We'll wait till it's sunny. That'll be a new fresh start. And then a sunny day comes and it pushes another button like, we still don't want to do this thing called the gym. So let's push a button that says, we don't want to waste a sunny day on being indoors in the gym. Let's hang out with friends instead. That's more important. And it'll just kind of keep pushing buttons that'll keep reaffirming the same identity to you. And then weeks later, you're like, why did I never start the gym? Why didn't I start my morning routine? I'm so capable of doing this. I see other people do it all the time. And I know my higher self does this. So now that we know that the subconscious mind is just pushing all these buttons, that's like, yeah, I don't align, or I don't identify with this person that's a 5 a.m. person. That's not what we've been doing. That's not the pattern that we've had all of these days. That is why the key that I left off in my last video of what really changed the game for me was meditation. So what exactly is meditation? Like, what is happening? What is this fluffy thing called meditation? Okay, you hear it all the time. I know you're probably so tired of hearing subconscious mind, meditation, all of these affirmations and things. It sounds like a bunch of fluff, but when you don't really know, like if I didn't really know how powerful it was, I wouldn't really care to do it either. But now that I do know how powerful it was, I have to share it with you, because this is what you're gonna do also, so that you can align with your higher self. So what is meditation? It's not just like sitting down quietly. Because you're probably sitting down quietly right now and watching this video. Does that mean that you're meditating? No. Meditation is you taking the wheel. So your subconscious mind, when it's pushing all these buttons and performing all these functions, keeping you kind of in this familiar bubble, because that's where it wants to stay, it is pushing buttons all day long to reaffirm your identity, okay? If you want to stop doom scrolling at night before bed because you have to go to sleep, because if not, you're going to wake up late and very tired, but you can't stop, it's because your subconscious mind is like, keep scrolling. Because we know that that's going to mean that you're not going to wake up early. And how are we going to have our familiar chaotic routine of waking up late and scrambling and feeling panic, which is our norm, if you stop scrolling right now? So meditation, it's constantly pushing these buttons. It's constantly pushing these buttons and sparking those thoughts, and you think you're thinking them, but it's your subconscious. So when you meditate, okay, Meditation is where you step in and you take the wheel, okay? You start driving your mind where the subconscious is usually driving your mind for you. So if you don't have your license in real life, you're gonna have it in your mind when you meditate. Meditation is gonna put you in the driver's seat, okay? It's like where you don't usually have editing access. If like somebody sends you a file and it's read only, you're gonna have like editing full rights to this file that is you and your own mind. So before I started meditating and in between doing affirmations and stuff, I still kept like falling off a bit of what I wanted to be doing. And I was just like, why do I keep going in circles? Right now, your brainwaves right now watching this are probably in beta. I'll put like a visual somewhere so that you can see what this would look like. Beta brainwaves are more like you're thinking, you're surviving, you're like crossing the streets, you're like getting dressed, you're like you're going about your day. Okay, you're in beta brainwaves. Alpha waves are usually when you're chillax, you're more like in your creative zone, you're not like actively, using too much brain power doing something. You're like more daydreamy and kind of relax. A lot of like mindfulness meditations that are like 5 minutes long are most likely going to have you go into like a alpha brainwave states. But where you want to be to start pushing your own buttons and making the commands for your own brain so that when you wake up, you just wake up, you don't hit snooze, or you want to go to the gym, you just go to the gym, or you want to eat the healthy snack and it tastes amazing, that you think that it tastes amazing, is when you are in theta brainwave. That is where your reprogramming is taking place. So this is a brainwave state that you're also in when you're like sleeping. You're in theta. Like when you go to sleep, you're in like this theta brainwave state. And this is where your subconscious mind is also very susceptible to like suggestion. And so when you're sleeping, that's why people say be very mindful of what you're consuming and the content that you're consuming before you go to sleep, because that's going to be more suggestible to your mind. So if you've ever like saw something and then like right before you went to sleep and then you had a dream about it, it's probably because that's exactly the last thing you saw as you were drifting in to this theta state. It's also why it's recommended to not be on social media or view anything negative in the morning, because when you wake up, your mind is more susceptible to the things that it's seeing, and it's affecting its programming more in that way. You don't need to remember all this though. Just know that when you're in theta, you are in the driver's seat now. Now you have gotten into the part of your mind where you can start pushing all of the buttons that you desire to be pushed, because the subconscious is no longer the one sitting in the driver's seat in charge. So this is where you start meditating, okay? Your body is relaxed. You're not doing anything. You're not touching anything. You're not thinking about anything. You're in your mind, and now you can take over and push any button that you want. And so this is where you start to visualize your higher self. This is where you start to mentally rehearse her routine, because your subconscious mind does not know the difference between you doing something in real life and you doing it in your mind. It thinks that it's all happening for real. Even if you watch like a really scary movie, your subconscious mind thinks that everything that you're viewing is happening to you in real life, that you're experiencing and seeing this and like living all of this. So you have to be very mindful of what you like accept and believe as truth and what you consume as far as media. But anyway, when you go into your subconscious mind now and you're in this theta state, you can start pushing buttons that when you wake up, you can start pushing buttons that suggest, like, for example, visualize your higher self doing the thing that your higher self wants to do. When it comes time to waking up at her alarm, she wakes up. You visualize her getting out of bed. Now your mind considers that the normal. Now when you go to actually do it in the physical, in your real life, you will actually get up, because your mind is like, yeah, we're not going to push any buttons that say no, go back to sleep, because what we've been seeing in her mind is that she actually does get up. And it's going to remove those blocks out of your way. It has literally seen you do this in your mind's eye. This is where you can select the emotions that you want to feel. If you want to feel abundance, something that I used to love to do when I was meditating and practicing is I would envision myself with my bank card, right? With my bank card with my name on it. And I would envision myself like a woman, like a cashier, or like I would envision the lady ringing me up at the register telling me my total, like a large number of like a large amount that I had to pay. And I would look at my card and I would go to tap, and then I would see the green, like in my mind's eye, I'm visualizing it saying like approved and like the green check. And I would mentally rehearse this over and over and over again. And it was one of my favorite things to do, to like visualize being my higher self. Like, she has her life together. She can afford anything she wants. So when she hears this grand total that I have to pay, that I owe, she would just swipe and hit it effortlessly. My mind now mentally has rehearsed doing so many of these amazing things. I would envision myself being able to do things in the gym that I never was able to do before, like a pull-up. Like, I used to hang and feel like my entire body weight beneath me and be like, I literally would die if I was hanging from a cliff, because I wouldn't be able to lift my own body weight up. And I could feel myself lifting and envisioning myself pulling my body weight up. Another thing that I love to visualize is just my routine, or a feeling that you want to have. Another amazing thing to just push the button on. You can push as many buttons as you like, as pushing the buttons of feeling confidence. Okay, feeling literal confidence. You can push the button of any emotion that you feel, so that when you want to feel that emotion on your day-to-day life, your subconscious mind is not going to be like, no, we have to keep her back, and push a different button that will make her feel a different emotion, or trigger a different memory that will make her feel negative, like her ex cheating on her, or, you know, her failing an exam that caused her to not get something that she wanted in life, or something, or her getting rejected from a job will push that memory so that she stays in negative thoughts. I would push and think about so many positive thoughts when I'm in this space, so that my mind now considers that to be its normal. Now that's its new identity. And so when I go to show up to do those things in my real life, there's nothing in my way. What a person that thrives and would love to perform and be on stage would have to perform in her mind's eye when she's in a deep meditation to suggest her mind the things that it wants. It would be confidence. It would be standing in front of an audience full of people and hearing them cheer her name. And instead of her feeling like anxiety and wanting to just retreat back inside, she would be owning it. This is also why when you're doing a meditation, they recommend that you clarify a goal or intention, because your mind naturally is going to drift off everywhere. One thing that is very important that I want you to remember is that meditation is a practice. Meditation is not something that you need to master overnight. This becoming your higher self is a journey, and it has to be accepted as a journey. Because if you were to wake up overnight and you were just your higher self, you wouldn't even know what to do. Like, you think you want that, but you wouldn't even know what to do. Imagine you woke up in some like luxury apartment with like luxury clothes and like all of this confidence and all of this stuff. You would have no idea what to do, because you haven't even done anything to build up to being this person. So if you're not an expert meditator right away, or you feel distracted, that's okay. You're going to continue to affirm in your affirmations, I love meditating. I am able to sit still for a decent amount of time so that I can get my meditation in. You can literally start writing whatever your blockages are. The more and more you write them out, the more and more your subconscious mind sees she does meditate. When you go to do it and sit, you will be able to do this effortlessly eventually. For me, you have no idea the distracted ADHD girly that I used to be, that I think meditation has literally fixed me. Like, it literally has fixed me. Like, I used to be somebody who couldn't even sit still for 5-minute meditations. I would open my eyes at like the 3-minute mark and be like, why is this still going? Like, I had every urge to pick up my phone, and because my body wanted to be in its familiarity, it's like, we don't do meditation. What the heck is this? Or why are we sitting here? We're used to having the phone, and it would be pushing buttons to trigger me to pick up my phone, to get up, to move. I feel like my body would even trigger me to itch. Like, it would trigger like some random like itch on my head or itch on my arm that I couldn't ignore, that I would have to break out of it and like itch myself. So it's okay if you don't master it right away. The whole point is that you are going to get better at meditating. And it might not even be hard for you at all. It's actually very calming, very therapeutic. And I'm very excited for you to start meditating. You are so much closer to your higher self than you think. You are going to come into alignment with her. I know this is going to happen for you. I'm affirming it for you on your behalf. You have to have the belief in it. Also, don't have to go from A to Z like I've talked about. You don't have to go into trying to do some deep meditation and theta right away. You can start with the 5-minute meditations and then progress to 10-minute and then 20-minute and then an hour if you can, however long you want. Really, as long as you keep showing up to align with her, you're going to align with her eventually. You don't have to go from student to like master in a day. And that's all I have for today's video. I'm so excited for you to continue in coming into alignment with your higher self, and I'm extremely excited to keep adding videos onto this series. I can talk about this literally all day. I can talk about this for hours, but for now I will keep it here so I don't bombard you with too much information. If you want to stay informed of when I upload another video as part of this higher self series, then go ahead and subscribe and hit the bell. And that's all I have for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.